It appears that Candy Owens and Turning Point USA are at odds with one another. They've been at odds with one another for quite some time, but ever since the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens has been pushing a lot of false narratives, a lot of hateful, I think, and disingenuous lies that are trying to hurt the Turning Point USA brand. I mean, even yesterday, I made a video about Candy making the memorial of Charlie Kirk all about herself, how she had her spirit that was soaring over in a dragon. I'm sorry, it's dragons don't soar, once again. Just pointing that out, being plain and simple as I possibly can. But, you know, the thing that is really egregious and disgusting is that most of the people in Turning Point USA were trying to grieve their founder and their friend losing his life at the hands of a radical leftist, but they couldn't even do that because people like Candace took this as an opportunity to push crazy conspiracy theories and lies. They weren't even just really conspiracy theories. They're just predominantly lies to try and garner her own attention and clicks and whatever else. Disgusting behavior from Candace Owens, and I was calling her out the entire time, and I will continue to do so. And she was saying all these horrible narratives, and one of them was that she thinks that it was an inside job. She thinks that Turning Point USA, pretty much one of the other theories that she was alluding to was Israel did it. You know, Bibi Netanyahu, which she stated a number of times in a number of videos, as well as on X as well, that Bibi Netanyahu apparently offered $150 million to Charlie Kirk, which was a downright not a lie, already been disproven by Alex Colvert and even Ben Shapiro and many others in Turning Point USA. But Candace doesn't seem to care about that at all. Now, because of these lies, the Turning Point USA show and podcast hosted by Alex Clark called Culture Apothecary. If you don't know what an apothecary is, it's someone that sold medicine or drugs back in the day. Anyway, they've released a number of episodes, one with Colvert, the best friend and producer to Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, and I'm sure that there are many more to follow. But there's one moment with Ben Shapiro where Alex asks him what's going on, you know, like what's happening with, you know, are you taking over Turning Point USA? Will you ever take over Turning Point USA? And, well, you're just going to have to watch what he has to say regarding Candace Owens' lies because it's something. Have a watch.
To ask you, what do you think about the rumors that Charlie was scared for his life, wondering if Israel was going to allegedly take him out before he died?
I think there's a game that gets played online. Make a allegation. I use that word advisedly. And then when a bunch of people push back, you say, you see, they've now taken the allegation seriously enough to deny it. There's not one iota of evidence that that's true. Not one. I was not at the meeting in the Hamptons with Bill Ackman. I have friends who were at the meeting with Bill Ackman, right? People like Josh Hammer, for example, or Seth Dillon. I know that they'd been invited by Charlie, and they've spoken pretty publicly, I believe, about what it was that went down. Bill Ackman has spoken pretty publicly. First of all, the notion that Charlie would be, quote unquote, blackmailed into taking a position is just unbelievably silly. The people who are spreading these rumors, they're agents of demoralization. They're trying to split the movement. They're trying to smear Charlie's legacy. I mean, Charlie was two things. He was a principled man who argued in public, and he was also a coalition builder. Coalition building is a very difficult business. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a business where you have to hold together a bunch of people who disagree on a bunch of different areas. And there can be real, as I said before, disagreements behind the scenes about how to handle those sort of pragmatic matters of building a coalition. But this notion somehow that Charlie, for example, was radically shifting on Israel, and suddenly he was going to turn into a fan of Hamas and start preaching that. If you can show me evidence of that, I mean, I was interviewed on his show the day before he was shot, and we laughed together about some of the allegations that were being made along these lines. Nobody's going to believe me who doesn't want to believe me online, because that's how it works in the X space. But you know better than I do. You tell me. You were on the inside here.
So my perspective being on the inside is actually, you said that perfectly about coalition building. So he was very disturbed by this splitting on the right. He was like, this is a way bigger issue than we even realize. Like, I mean, the whole movement is basically splitting in half, pro-Israel, anti-Israel. What am I going to do here? Like, let's give everyone an opportunity to speak, share their sides. I mean, that's why he hosted this debate on Israel at SAS this summer. He was planning on having, you speak at our events, Tucker speak at our events. Like, so it was like, let's just give everybody a platform. Internally, I never personally heard any like major worldview shifts on Israel like that. It was just very much, I'm hearing what everybody's saying,
You would know better than I would, but again, that seemed to be my perception from the outside. I mean, again, until the day he was shot, he was publicly a pro-Israel person in every debate that he ever personally held in terms of his personal beliefs.
Which those were in the last couple months. I mean, it's very, very recent conversations. After that interview, just a few days before he died, between you and Charlie on Israel, did he text you after the interview anything?
No, the last text that I received from Charlie was inviting me to speak at, I mean, I can pull it up. It was literally inviting me to speak at AmFest.
Yeah.
And I said, yes. And he said, great, we'll plan it. That was the last text that I received from Charlie. And that would have been the prior Thursday, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
There's a pretty horrendous game being played at the moment. And it's being played by the likes of Candace Owens, especially Candace. She's realized that if I can say the most provocative thing I can possibly think of, like, for example, Bibi Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million, blackmailing Charlie Kirk. That's a very provocative thing to say. No evidence whatsoever, but I've heard it on the grapevine somewhere. Don't know exactly where I heard it from. Max Blumenthal came up with it as well. So these people will come up with these ludicrous statements, these dingbat kind statements. And Ben used the R word, which we can't repeat on this show, unfortunately, because the YouTube doesn't like it, supposedly. I think we need to bring the word back because it's quite evident that it needs to be brought back, and especially in today's society, and calling people like Candace that word. But anyway, we'll call her a dingbat, which is my word. So dingbat and the R word are pretty much the same thing. Anyway, woke dingbat, we'll call Candace Owens. So Candace loves to say these lies because she knows that it's going to get people thinking, and the conspiracy theorists on the internet, there's loads of them at the moment. And, even if the truth was shown, people still go, well, that can't be the truth. I believe what Candace says, because it doesn't matter if she's lied and she's been disproven a number of times. I'm still going to follow her because for whatever reason, their brains have snapped. It's a horrible game to try and split the right, as it would seem, or try and split good faith people. And the bad faith people get in there, and people that don't really have their heads screwed on straight, the crazy, vulnerable ones, we call them bots, right? There's lots of them, but there's actually a lot of people that believe in what Candace Owens has been spouting. And because Ben is a Jew, everyone goes, oh, Ben is horrible. He's a liar. He's going to be taking over Turning Point, which is what Candace was saying, spreading all these horrible things, right? No basis whatsoever in evidence or fact or logic, nothing of the sort, except she says it, so therefore it must be true. She's got no track record at all of being true about anything. So why in the world do people follow her? That amazes me. It really does amaze me. So then she wants to go a step further and try and tarnish a good man, Charlie Kirk, an honest man. She wants to try and tarnish his good name. And it's up to us to defend Charlie Kirk's good name, considering he's no longer around anymore to defend his own damn name. And I think it's, I get really furious and fiery over lies. I hate them. They're the worst things ever because they have the ability to destroy. The truth reveals all. 100% it does. Lies destroy and they take things down, good things down. And it takes a while for the truth to get out there. But while the lies are starting to destroy everything, it doesn't just destroy someone's credibility, it destroys their entire life. And why is Candace doing that to Charlie? I wonder. I really do wonder why Candace is spreading all of these lies. Is it just for clicks or is there more nefarious N. Makes me think, doesn't it? But Ben was spot on to even think for a second that Charlie Kirk was being blackmailed by Israel or he's being offered bribes or whatever. Charlie was a good debater, but he was also, as Ben said, he was building things and he had to deal with lots of difference of opinions. And that's okay. We live in a society with so many differences of opinions. It's okay to have conversations about it, but let's actually focus on the truth and not focus on these people that are so good. I'll give them credit for that. So good at spouting a lot of these very provocative things that have no basis or no grounding in truth or fact. And they're quite harmful and they need to stop. They really do need to stop. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.